Okay, guys, so I know most of this note set is going to be very self-explanatory because it's all typed out for you and underlined, but I just wanted to go over it. So this is Basics of Chemical Reactions notes. Okay, so there's four things that we can tell that a chemical reaction has occurred. The first one is called effervescence. So that's just a fancy word for a gas is produced. A lot of times it's going to be carbon dioxide gas or it's going to be hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas makes a little popping sound whenever it's reacting. So we test that by like a flame test. If you think of an Alka-Seltzer tablet, whenever it dissolves, that's going to produce effervescence. The next thing that we can tell that a chemical reaction has occurred is if precipitate is formed. A precipitate is an insoluble solid that is formed when two aqueous solutions are mixed together. So if I take two liquids and I mix them together and it produces like a milky solid or it changes texture, that's going to be an indication that a chemical reaction has occurred. Okay, number 3, a permanent color change is observed. Now, earlier in the semester, we talked about food coloring as being a physical change, okay? When we're talking about permanent color changes observed, we're talking about a solution changes colors whenever you're reacting. Say you take a copper wire, you put in silver nitrate solution. The solution will turn blue, okay? Another example is like when we burn something. When we burn something, it's going to turn brown or black. A combustion reaction is whenever we burn something, okay? So that's a fancy word for burning, okay? Number 4, an energy change is observed. Sometimes when chemicals are mixed together, they either get hot or cold, okay? So if something feels warmer, that's called an exothermic. The prefix exo means to release, like in Exodus in the Bible, okay? Endothermic means inner. So you're going to be absorbing heat. Now, so those are pretty much vocabulary terms that you're going to need to know for this test. Okay, writing chemical equations. So a chemical equation is going to look like this. You have something called reactants on the left side of the arrow, and on the right side of the arrow, those are the products. Okay, sometimes you can have 1 or 2 or 3. It just depends on what kind of reaction you're looking at. Okay, the arrow means yields. It acts just like an equal sign in an algebraic equation. Chemical equations are used to represent law of conservation of matter. So whatever we have on the left side has to be equal to whatever's on the right side of the reaction. Okay, something that helps to lower the activation energy of a reaction is called a catalyst. Okay, it helps to speed up a reaction. In biology, in our bodies, we have biochemical catalysts that speed up the dissolving process of carbon dioxide in our bloodstream. So it's super important that if we didn't have it, we would die within a second. Other catalysts that we see in industry are nickel, platinum. They're super expensive catalysts that they use in these fluidized reaction beds. Okay, and some other stuff that you're going to see when you're doing these types of problems, when we're balancing chemical equations, we're doing reactions. S stands for solid, L stands for liquid, G stands for gas, and aqueous is represented by AQ. Now, when we go to balance equations, these aren't going to affect this at all. Okay, they're just used to tell the state of the substance we're dealing with. And the last little note we're going to talk about, which we've already talked about during the semester, is a diatomic molecule. So a diatomic molecule is a molecule that does not exist by itself in nature. Okay, now these diatomic molecules are nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and hydrogen. So the way we remember this is we start at 7. So nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and make a 7. So we start at 7, make a 7, plus hydrogen up here, okay? So this is just a little overview of these notes. You'll have a short little quiz that goes with it. Just vocab quizzes, 10 questions, and I'm gonna need y'all to get that done on Blackboard. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and email me. Thanks, bye.